When Gandalf sailed from the Grey Havens at the end of the Third Age, Middle-earth was left without the guiding hand of its most prominent wizard. But what does this departure truly signify? Was Gandalf the last of the Istari to walk the lands of Middle-earth? Or were there others who remained behind in obscurity or ventured into unknown lands? To answer this, we need to uncover the origins and purpose of the Istari, trace their journeys, and understand the fate of each member of this mysterious order. Who were the Istari and why were they sent to Middle-earth? The Istari were not just ordinary wizards. They were Maiar, ancient spiritual beings created by Eru Ilúvatar at the dawn of time, existing long before the world of Middle-earth was formed. As Maiar, they were akin to Sauron in origin, though fundamentally different in purpose. These five were chosen by the Valar, the archangels of the world, to take on human forms and assist the free peoples of Middle-earth in resisting Sauron's growing power. Each Istari arrived in the guise of aged men, their true power hidden and restricted by their mortal forms. They were sent not to confront Sauron with force, but to subtly guide, counsel, and encourage resistance. Their wisdom and insight were meant to inspire the hearts of elves and men to stand against the shadow. The Valar forbade them from seeking dominion or power, ensuring their role remained purely advisory. Yet, from the start, the mission was fraught with difficulty. Several of the Istari strayed from their path. Saruman succumbed to the lure of power. The Blue Wizards were lost in the east under uncertain circumstances, and Radagast became preoccupied with nature, abandoning his greater purpose. Even as the first shadows were felt in Mirkwood, there appeared in the west of Middle-earth the Istari, whom men called the Wizards. None knew at that time whence they were, save Círdan of the Havens, and only to Elrond and to Galadriel did he reveal that they came over the sea. But afterwards it was said among the elves that they were messengers sent by the lords of the west to contest the power of Sauron, if he should arise again, and to move elves and men and all living things of goodwill to valiant deeds. In the likeness of men they appeared, old but vigorous, and they changed little with the years, and aged but slowly, though great cares lay on them. Great wisdom they had, and many powers of mind and hand. What was the fate of the other Istari, and why did Gandalf's journey differ? Saruman, originally Curumo, was the chief of the Istari, the most knowledgeable and powerful of their order. Seduced by the very power he was meant to oppose, Saruman sought to rival Sauron using the One Ring. However, his fall from grace was a tragic consequence of his pride and desire for dominion. His ambition led to his corruption, and he ultimately became a tyrant in his own right. His fate was one of utter ruin, leaving Middle-earth without its leader of the Istari. By the end of the War of the Ring, Saruman was defeated, cast out from the Order and slain, his spirit dispersing into nothingness, unable to return to the west. Radagast the Brown or Iwendil chose a different path. His love for nature and the creatures of Middle-earth drew him away from his original mission. He became more concerned with the forests and wildlife, seemingly neglecting the larger struggle against Sauron. Tolkien's works hint that Radagast did not return to Valinor, but remained in Middle-earth. Fading into obscurity, his influence diminished. He was never corrupted as Saruman was, but neither did he fulfill his intended purpose. The Blue Wizards, LOTR and Palando, journeyed far into the east, where their stories became shrouded in mystery. Some tales suggest they failed, succumbing to corruption or despair. It is said they sought to incite rebellion and resistance against Sauron in lands far beyond the reach of the West. Yet their fate remains uncertain. Others hint they might have succeeded in fragmenting Sauron's power in the East, thus indirectly aiding the West. Whether they perished, were corrupted, or simply faded into legend, the Blue Wizards were lost to Middle-earth's history long before Gandalf's final departure. Indeed, of all the Istari, one only remained faithful, and he was the last comer. For Radagast the Fourth became enamored of the many beasts and birds that dwelt in Middle-earth, and forsook elves and men, and spent his days among the wild creatures. Thus he got his name, which is in the tongue of Númenor of old, and signifies, it is said, tender of beasts. And Curunir Lan, Saruman the White, fell from his high errand, and becoming proud and impatient and enamored of power sought to have his own will by force, and to oust Sauron. But he was ensnared by that dark spirit, mightier than he. What set Gandalf apart from the other Istari and enabled him to fulfill his mission? Gandalf, originally known as Olorin, was always unique among the Istari. Even before coming to Middle-earth, he was renowned for his humility, wisdom, and compassion. Unlike Saruman, whose pride led to his downfall, or Radagast, who strayed from his purpose, Gandalf never sought power for himself. Instead, he focused on inspiring others to find strength within themselves. His success stemmed from his unwavering dedication to his mission and his profound understanding of the hearts of the free peoples. Gandalf walked among elves, men, hobbits, and dwarves alike, earning their trust and friendship. He never commanded but persuaded, never ruled but advised. When faced with despair and overwhelming odds, he alone remained steadfast, kindling hope and courage in those who would become the true champions of Middle-earth. He took up the mantle Saruman had abandoned, leading the free peoples to victory. His resurrection as Gandalf the White marked the culmination of his journey, a testament to his resilience and purity of heart. It was not his power that set him apart, but his unyielding commitment to his cause, no matter the cost. Manwë replied that he wished Olorin to go as the third messenger to Middle-earth, and it is remarked in parentheses that Olorin was a lover of the Eldar that remained, apparently to explain Manwë's choice. But Olorin declared that he was too weak for such a task, and that he feared Sauron. Then Manwë said that that was all the more reason why he should go, and that he commanded Olorin. But at that, Vardar looked up and said, "Not as the third." And Kurumo remembered it. If Gandalf was the last to leave, does that mean the age of the Istari is over? Yes, in many ways, Gandalf was indeed the last of the Istari. With Saruman's demise and the unknown fates of the Blue Wizards, Gandalf stood alone as the final active member of his order. His departure marked the end of the Valar's direct intervention in Middle-earth. There was no longer a need for their presence. With the defeat of Sauron, the purpose of the Istari was fulfilled. However, whether he was truly the last depends on how one views the fates of Radagast and the Blue Wizards. Radagast may have lingered in Middle-earth, but he no longer functioned as an Istar in his intended role. The Blue Wizards, if they survived, might have remained in the distant east, far removed from the struggles of the west. Yet, for all intents and purposes, Gandalf's departure marked the end of an era. He was the last to fulfill the mission assigned to the Istari, and his return to Valinor closed the chapter on their influence in Middle-earth. As the world moved into the Fourth Age, it became an age of men, an age in which the guidance and counsel of the Istari were no longer needed. Based on everything we've uncovered, Gandalf was indeed the last of the Istari to actively fulfill his purpose in Middle-earth. Saruman's downfall and corruption, the unknown fates of the Blue Wizards, and Radagast's retreat into seclusion left Gandalf as the only one to complete the mission set by the Valar. When he sailed from the Grey Havens at the end of the Third Age, it marked the end of the Istari's influence in Middle-earth and the completion of the Valar's last intervention. There was no longer a need for their presence, as Sauron had been defeated and the free peoples had proven capable of standing on their own. However, the story of Gandalf and the Istari is deeply intertwined with the rise and fall of powers in Middle-earth. Just as the Istari were sent to counter Sauron's influence, Sauron himself was once a servant of a greater evil, Morgoth, the original Dark Lord. Sauron rose to power only after Morgoth's defeat and carried forward his master's legacy of corruption and domination. To learn about how Sauron's story and how he became to be Middle-earth's most formidable foe, click the video on screen now.